In a scary moment as we went to commercial, Sophie Cunningham hit the floor hard. And Sophie Cunningham, oh man, I got to tell you, this victory, it came with a big price.
Look at today's game where Sophie Cunningham went out in the first half. And that was such a huge blow for the Indiana Fever because Sophie Cunningham has been somebody, she has been the glue of this team since Caitlin has been out.
Sophie Cunningham was flat out targeted by a dirty player.
I'd say there's a near 0% chance that Sophie Cunningham plays again this year, for being honest.
The Indiana Fever are the target of an official declaration of war from the basketball gods. And by eliminating Sophie Cunningham in the most tragic manner imaginable, they dealt their most devastating blow to date. What began as a typical game against the son of a basement dweller in Connecticut became a complete nightmare when Bria Hartley, who reportedly believes she is playing rugby rather than basketball, collided with Sophie's knee and left Indiana's toughest defender writhing in pain on the court.
I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what it was at first when I saw her went down. So let's break down the play where Sophie got hurt. So as you can see here, Bria Hartley is going baseline. Kelsey Mitchell is guarding her. And then Sophie comes over to help. And then Bria Hartley falls on her leg. And Sophie immediately grabs like her shin area.
They went at Sophie Cunningham early. And considering this is Bria Hartley, I'm not ruling out that she jumped through her knee. Considering who it is, I'm not. Like, Bria Hartley has been ejected multiple times. She's yanked Angel by the hair. This is the Connecticut Sun. This is a team that have jumped through players' knees before.
Bria Hartley has had dirty plays all season. You got to know who we're talking about. Bria Hartley is the same girl that pulled Angel Reese out of there by her ponytail just last game, I think 2 days ago. She pulls Becca Allen by her head to the floor, and Ariel Atkins goes over there to protect her teammate. Bria Hartley has been doing dirty things for all season. She's been a dirty player.
Every Fever supporter began to wonder if this infamous season would ever end due to the injury epidemic that has plagued them all year long when they saw Sophie clutching her right knee while tears were streaming down her cheeks. This is where the story takes the most amazing turn you could ever imagine, though, as the Indiana Fever pulled off the biggest comeback in team history without its defensive anchor and with a roster held together by athletic tape and sheer willpower. What followed defied all laws of physics, mathematics, and common sense. This is the kind of sports magic that only comes along once in a lifetime. So, hit the like button and leave retort queens in the comments.
For 25 minutes, didn't look like we had any business beating this Connecticut Sun team. For 25 minutes, we looked like the worst team on the court. Defensive rotations, Marina hitting the three, Sanaya Rivers taking it to the rim, Tina Charles, Aaliyah Edwards, out-rebounding AB, Natasha Howard. But we came alive when we needed to come alive. We forced overtime. Kelsey Mitchell, back-to-back threes in OT. Lexi Hull, dagger three, putting the nail in the coffin.
I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you guys. I know that sometimes it sounds like just a word when we talk about being resilient, but it's not, man. It's how we live. It's how y'all live, and it's a tribute to you. It's a tribute to your connectedness, your togetherness, your toughness, your mindset. You never give up gritty attitudes. Like, that's what it takes. That's what it takes, and we will never be counted out, because that is worth gold. That is worth.
Seeing the injury itself develop in real time was heartbreaking, and everybody who has been watching the WNBA this season is aware of Bria Hartley's identity and the reputation she has established. The player that grabbed Angel Reed's ponytail and yanked her out of the air is this one. The same shady rival who has been hurling elbows and making careless plays throughout the season while somehow escaping the kind of repercussions that ought to have led to her suspension months ago. Hartley lost control when driving to the basket in the second quarter, and instead of merely falling awkwardly, she struck Sophie's planted right leg like a wrecking ball striking a support beam. You have to question whether these officials will continue to tolerate such careless behavior until someone's career is permanently terminated because the consequence was so severe and obviously preventable.
Now, she was on the ground. She was crying. She was yelling. It definitely seemed like she was in a ton of pain. The training staff went over to her. They went to commercial break. Like, it was a real injury. This wasn't something, and Sophie's the type of player, a lot of times when she does get injured, she just gets right back up. She tries to walk it off. This was something that kept her down, and it was so hard to see. It is ironic because Bria Hartley has been in multiple scuffles this year with the Connecticut Sun. A lot of people would categorize her as a dirty player.
She roughs house. And Kathy Engelberg, this is why I say you wonder why there's so many goddamn injuries all over the league, because you are allowing people to play rugby and football and do UFC moves in the middle of a basketball game. In the beginning of this game, Sophie Cunningham is bringing the ball up the floor. She gets mugged, hit upside the head, knocked to the floor while dribbling the ball up the floor 75 feet away from the rim. Do you think the refs called anything?
Both Sophie's sister, I believe, and her mother both tweeted about this play. Now, Lindsay, her sister, said, WNBA, maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game and protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you, Sophie. And then Paula, who I think is her mom, that's what the internet is saying, she said Hartley is a disgruntled player, having trouble everywhere she goes. She's plain mean and plays.
You learned all you needed to know about the gravity of what had just transpired from Sophie's response. Because being strong, physical, and never giving up on anything or anyone is the foundation of this player's entire identity. It was the kind of moment where you know something major just happened when you saw her instantly grab her knee, begin hopping around on one leg, and then collapse to the ground in obvious agony. Given that Indiana is already down to essentially a skeleton crew of healthy players, the fact that she needed assistance from teammates and trainers to leave the court while obviously trying to put any weight on that leg should have been the end of the story. However, this is what, from a league-wide standpoint, makes the entire situation even more vexing. If the WNBA had been doing its job throughout the season rather than letting players like Hartley play like they were in a demolition derby, this injury would have been totally avoidable. In the first quarter, the referees allowed Hartley and her colleagues to get away with a number of cheap shots and excessively forceful moves, including slamming Sophie to the ground when she was dribbling the ball 75 feet from the basket without making any calls. There will ultimately be a serious injury when you foster an atmosphere where athletes know they can use UFC moves and rugby tactics without facing any repercussions. And that's just what took place today.